Hello everyone, my name is Jinjos and welcome to a new Pokemon Challenge video. In this playthrough of Pokemon Silver, Pokeballs and all its variations are off limits, meaning we cannot catch any Pokemon in the wild. We will have to rely on the kindness of strangers and the money in our pocket. We won't be using glitches or hacks of any kind, and no items can be used during battle. With that out of the way, let's jump right into the game. After naming our character Michael and discovering there's nothing in our PC, sad, we head off to choose our starter Pokemon. Usually we need to take HMs into account, but all three starters can learn Cut, so we may choose any of the three. By the power of the randomizer wheel, we choose Totodile for our starter, naming him Oscar. After running some errands for Professor Elm, we run into our rival on the way home and defeat his Chikorita without breaking a sweat. Arriving at Professor Elm's laboratory, we discover that our rival, who we named Toby, broke into the lab and stole that Chikorita. Professor Elm then sets us off on our Pokemon journey. But before we head off, we must inform Mother and ask her to save our money for us. This is very important to do to obtain certain Pokemon later on. With our affairs in order, we head off to Violet City. As Totodile is my only Pokemon, he has leveled up by a good bit, so we decided to take on Falkner right away. With this team being such a low level, a few scratches and well-placed leaders takes out his Pidgey and his Pidgeotto. Afterward, we head back to the Pokemon Center, where one of Professor Elm's assistants hands us a Pokemon egg. With it being one of the few Pokemon we get in the game, I decide to hatch it right away by walking some more. Eventually it hatches, and we receive a Togepi, whom we name Aaron. Before heading out of Violet City, we switch train Togepi in the Sprout Tower and grab the HM for Flash. After going through the Union Cave, we stumble upon Team Rocket, who are capturing Slowpoke, cutting off their tails, and selling them to fund their devious plans. We put a stop to this, and in the process, Oscar evolves into Crocodile. After fighting off Team Rocket, we head to the Azalea Gym, where we battle Bugsy and his bug Pokemon. Decided to send out Togepi to get as much damage as I could with her metronomes. Getting lucky with Hyper Beam, Flail, and Ancient Power leads to a quick defeat of Metapod. Not wanting her to have all the fun, I have Crocodile take out his Kakuna and spam Water Gun to take out his Scyther before his Fury Cutter stacks up too high. With my second badge under my belt, I head out of town to only be ambushed by Toby! Stupid Toby! Against his Gastly, I accidentally sent out Togepi, who has a very low chance of hitting Gastly, so I sent out Crocodile to take him out with some Water Guns. With Bayleaf coming out next, I sent out Togepi to get some lucky rolls on Metronome. While Fly didn't do as much damage as I hoped, I did land a Perish Song. Wanted to stall as much as I could, I started using Charm and Growl before sending out Crocodile, who got to soak up all that juicy experience. Using my newly acquired move Bite, I take out a Zubat with no problem. After moving this Farfetch around, we get access to the HM Cut, which I sadly have to teach my Crocodile. Before I head out of town, I make sure to stop by the woodcutter's house and pick up a charcoal from him, as it can be sold for a good chunk of change. After walking through Goldenrod City, I head north, where a kind gentleman asks us to deliver some mail to a friend of his, but is attached to a Spearow, gaining us another Pokemon for our adventure. There are many things to do in Goldenrod City, but of the most important things you could do is purchase Pokemon from the Game Corner. We were able to purchase 3 Pokemon, Abra, Sandshrew, and Dratini. While Abra would be a great addition to the team, I already used it in my last challenge video of Pokemon Red. If you want to check that out, here's a link. Sandshrew is a great ground-type Pokemon to pick up early, and Dratini is a must-buy Pokemon if I chose Cyndaquil or Chikorita as my starter, due to its ability to learn Surf. While my Crocodile can learn Surf, we want to snatch up both of these as soon as possible. While we are far off from purchasing Dratini, it is still a good idea to sell any items you don't plan on using and convert them to coins so as to not lose any money if you are defeated in battle. After emptying our pockets, we head to the Goldenrod Gym to take on Whitney. Due to the damage buildup from Miltank's rollout, we are defeated twice. Thankfully, we converted our money beforehand, though. On the final battle, though, I changed up my tactics by leveling up my now evolved Fearow and Togepi to level 20 and my Crocodile to 25. I send out Togepi against her Clefairy to try and get some lucky rolls on my Metronome. While I do get a Boomerang off, her Clefairy counters with a Blizzard, which makes me a bit nervous. I send out Fearow to finish up with a couple of pecks. Once Miltank comes out, I send out Togepi to confuse it with Sweet Kiss, and fail to get off a Fire Blast and a Blizzard. I then send out Fearow to lower its defenses with Leer, and then hoping to finish it off, I shoot off 2 Fury attacks, but fall slightly short. I then send out Crocodile to finish it off with some Bite attacks. We then head to Ecruteak City. Once you enter the Pokemon Center, you will run into Bill, who will chat with you about the new trade system he just installed. After this encounter, though, I head back to Goldenrod City and visit him at his home, where he gifts me an Eevee, whom I name Ryan. Now, evolution stones in this game are very difficult to find, so it is best to evolve this Eevee by increasing its friendship. The most straightforward way of doing this is by having Eevee be the first Pokemon in our Pokemon team, and start walking, and walking, and walking. While doing this, I decided to do the same thing with Togepi, and eventually they evolve into Togetic and Umbreon. We head back to Ecruteak City, where we take on the Eevee Dancing Sisters and pick up Surf. We then head to the burnt tower where we run into our rival. Against his Haunter, I send out Fearow, who uses his Pursuit to take him out quickly. Against his Magnemite, I decide to send out Umbreon, which wasn't too smart, but with a handful of sand attacks and spamming tackles, we pull it off. I then send Togetic out to take out Zubat, and Croconaw to defeat his Bayleaf. After a quick withdrawal from the Bank of Mama, we head back to the game corner and purchase us a Dratini, whom we name Phyllis. Before we head into the Ghost-type gym, let's do a quick update on our team. We got Dratini up to level 22 after a lot of grinding. Fearow's at 28 with a Dark Move Pursuit that can help me out. Croconaw was 27 and Bite will do some work. Togetic is underwhelming. And sadly, Umbreon won't be of any help in this gym due to it only having normal type moves. Now onto After losing my first attempt, we go in for round 2 with more determination. I send out Dratini against his Gastly, but then I decide I want to save Dratini's Dragon Rage for later, and have Fearow finish him off. I then send Croconaw out to take out his Haunter, who finishes himself off with Curse. Against Gengar, Fearow quickly falls to the Hypnosis/Dream Eater combo. I send out Dratini, hoping that Dragon Rage can help me out, but I'm quickly disappointed. Then I send out Umbreon just to get it over with, but after a couple sand attacks, he can't land his Shadow Ball. He eventually puts me asleep, but his Dream Eater can't harm Umbreon due to the type immunity. So we start draining our power points for all of our moves, with Gengar reaching his Struggle attack first, defeating my Umbreon. With Gengar unable to use any of his powerful attacks, I send in Croconaw to finish him, and then defeat his Haunter without a sweat. Probably one of the most interesting gym battles I've ever had. Being flushed with cash, I head over to the game corner in Goldenrod and pick myself up a Sandshrew, whom we name Stanley. I head over to Olivine City and run into my rival, who's just pissed off and throwing a fit that the gym leader isn't there. We then go to the diner and pick up the HM for strength. We then head to the lighthouse to meet Jasmine, who has a sick Ampharos and needs some super secret medicine at a town across the sea. We then surf across the sea and arrive at Cianwood City. First thing on our list is to stop by this little house, and we are gifted a Shuckle. Shuckle is an awesome Pokemon with some unique stats. With its insanely high defense and special defense, you need to have a specific moveset, especially Toxic. Unfortunately, that TM isn't available until the post-game, so Shuckle will remain in the box for now. We grind up a little bit to prep for the gym battle, and our Stanley evolves into Sandslash and teach him the HM for strength to get through the gym. Chuck shows off his bristling muscles, and then the battle begins. Chuck's pretty easy. We send out Phyllis to paralyze his Primeape, and to get up a couple Dragon Rages before being defeated. We send out Ryan, who takes out Primeape with 2 Shadow Balls. Next up is Poliwrath, one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. He takes out my Umbreon and then lands a well-aimed Dynamic Punch at Oscar. While the confusion slows me down, Poliwrath just can't seem to land that final hit. We end up with a V. With all the excitement for earning our 4th badge, Oscar evolves into Feraligatr. As we walk out of the gym, we pick up the HM for Fly and head back to Olivine City, and then head up to bring the medicine to Jasmine. Which we forgot. I'm a terrible person. We fly back and pick up the medicine and bring it to Jasmine. With all being well, we prep for the battle with Jasmine, which leads to Phyllis evolving into Dragonair. Jasmine starts out with Magnemite, and I send out Stanley, who takes it out with 1 Dig attack. Steelix is next, probably one of the most terrifying Pokemon to face in my mind. I get 2 digs off and get him to half health, but 1 Iron Tail takes me out. I send out Phyllis, who starts working at him with Surf, as he's being healed by Hyper Potion. With speed on my side, Phyllis takes out Steelix with another Surf, and then defeats Magnemite. Heading over to Mahogany Town, we discover the gym to be blocked and rumors flying around of some strange activity up at Lake Rage. We discover a very angry red Gyarados. We defeat him and head back to shore where we encounter Lance, who's also known as Dracula, the terror of Johto. He has discovered a Team Rocket hideout, who are using radio signals to force Magikarp to evolve. So we head into the super secret Team Rocket hideout and basically beat up some Team Rocket members, deactivate some electrodes, and save the world. Well, for now. While Team Rocket relocates, we decide to stop by the Mahogany Gym to take on Price. This was a bit of a tough battle, as none of my Pokemon are super effective against this team, but against the Seal, I sent out Umbreon. With Confuse Ray and Shadow Ball, it was not too tough of a victory. For his Dugong, I sent out Fearow, which in hindsight wasn't too smart, as Dugong definitely has some strong ice attacks, but 2 Flies take him out. For Piloswine, I sent out Sandslash. Realizing my mistake, I tried to poison him with a few shots of Poison Sting, to no avail. Next on my list of mistakes is sending out Dragonair, who miraculously dodges all of the attacks and finishes him off with a couple Dragon Rages. With my 7th badge earned, it's time to take out Team Rocket. Flying back to Goldenrod City, I head to the radio tower, and I put on my Team Rocket beat-up gloves. Working my way through the grunts isn't too difficult. Once I reach the top, I'm given a basement key. We head into the basement where we run into Toby. Stupid Toby. His Confused Ray and Life Leech just slow down his imminent doom against my Umbreon. Phyllis then takes out his Magnemite. Umbreon one-shots his Haunter, Stanley takes out Sneasel, and Fearow easily finishes off his Meganium. After he pouts, we proceed with a brutal destruction of Team Rocket. Though I will say they did put up a decent fight, with only 2 of my team members making it to the very end. We defeat the Team Rocket executives, and they decided to disband Team Rocket in shame. Heading east from Mahogany Town, we go through the grueling and extremely fun cave where you get to slide on the ice for hours and hours, which is ruined with a rock puzzle that takes hours and hours. But once we made it out of the cave, I stumbled into the nearest house and realized I could trade a Dragonair for a Rhydon. Needed a decent replacement for Togetic, I fly back to Goldenrod City, purchase another Dratini, spend a copious amount of time training it, and trade it for Rhydon. We then make our way to face Claire. After failing in my first attempt due to using my best Pokemon first, we reorganize and go in for attempt number 2. Against our first Dragonair, I sent out Rhydon for his first big appearance, and, well, for a Pokemon that can learn Surf, he sure can't handle it when it's used against him. With that out of the way, we send in our own Dragonair. After paralyzing each other, I realize I'll have the disadvantage, as Dragon Rage can only do a max of 40 damage, while Dragon Breath can do above that due to it being super effective. We move on to Sandslash, who is able to outspeed Dragonair due to being paralyzed. The second Dragonair gets off a super effective Ice Beam, but that high critical from Slash saves us. She sends out her Haymaker Kingdra, so I send in Fearow. While I get off some good hits due to the Kingdra's determination to light a smokescreen, the Hyper Potion sustains her enough for Surf to take down my Fearow. We send in Umbreon, who gets off a Confused Ray that slows down and hurts Kingdra enough to finish her off with a Shadow Ball. Her last Dragonair paralyzes Umbreon, and in the end, it's just a bit too much to handle for Umbreon. In the end, I send in Feraligatr for the easy cleanup. After defeating her, we witness probably one of the most pettiest reactions from Claire, who won't believe she just lost and demands we prove our worth by retrieving the Dragon Fang from the Dragon Den. Sounds intense? But all it leads me to do is teach my Feraligatr the terrible HM for Whirlpool, which we use and retrieve the Dragon Fang. While definitely being annoyed, we accept the final badge from Claire. With that out of the way, we work our way through Victory Road and come upon Toby again, who wants to test us one last time. Our Fearow takes out his Sneasel, Dragonair just barely taking out his Magneton, and Rhyhorn defeating his Golbat. Beginning was a bit tough, she was able to defeat my Fearow, but with a Confused Ray and Feint Attack from Umbreon, we get the job done. Umbreon then cleans up with a one-shot to Haunter and beating Kadabra through a recovery. With the HM of Fly, we won't need any other HM to make it back to the Elite Four, so we fly back to Blackthorn City and meet with the Move Deleter to clean up any unwanted HMs. After teaching a few TMs, we are ready to take on the Elite Four. First up is Will, who has a whole team of Psychic Pokemon. I decided to lead off with Umbreon, who takes out his first and second Xatu. He almost finishes off his Slowbro, but Dragonair is sent in for the cleanup. Against his Jinx, I send out Feraligatr, who one-shots it with Crit Slash, and finishes off Exeggutor for the win. Feeling confident, we head to our next challenge, the very lovable Koga. After dealing with the obnoxious Lapter, we defeat his Ariados with our Umbreon, his Venomoth with Rhydon, and Fortress with Feraligatr. Muck is when the difficulty really went up. I initially sent out Dragonair, but realizing I would be defeated, I paralyzed him before being taken out. I sent out Umbreon to either confuse or lower its defenses, but she gets taken out. I sent out Sandslash and realized that Slash is just a really good move. With Muck gone and Crobat being the final hurdle, I send out Fearow, who works his way through the full restore, but just can't seem to seal the deal, so Rhydon is called in for the win. This is when we go into easy mode and face off against Bruno. Oh, Bruno. Poor Bruno. His Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machamp are all taken out by Fearow, and Feraligatr finishes the match off against Onyx. Feeling unstoppable, we then face off against I Want to See Your Manager, Karen. Feeling a bit overconfident, I actually lose this battle pretty quickly. Dusting that off, I give it another go, leading off with Feraligatr to bring Umbreon low, but I switch to Dragonair to finish him off. With Vileplume next, I get off as much damage as I can with Dragonair's Icy Wind, but I leave her with a sliver of health and have Umbreon come in for the cleanup. I send Rhyhorn to take out his Murkrow, but a Whirlwind switches in my Fearow, takes out his Murkrow with no problem. Umbreon then takes out Gengar, and Oscar takes out Houndoom. Way better run than last time. On to Lance. Can almost taste that victory. Having no electric Pokemon, I send out Fearow to take out his Gyarados, but is very quickly defeated by Dragonite number 1. While Rhydon takes a good chunk of HP from Dragonite, he can't survive the long fight. Dragonair is sent out to finish up with an Icy Wind. Feraligatr then takes out his Aerodactyl, his other Dragonite, and his Charizard for the win. And that's it, we successfully beat the Elite Four without catching a single Pokemon. I had a lot of fun with this challenge and can't wait to give it Gen 3 a try. I was very happy with my final team. Fearow was a great Pokemon to get so early, Umbreon did a good amount of heavy lifting, Sandslash did okay, him and Rhydon were probably the weakest of the two, but Dragonair pulled out some great wins, and of course the MVP of the run, Feraligatr. Thank you so much for joining me on this great Pokemon adventure. Hope to beat the post game another time, but for now, remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you will be notified of the next video. Until then, have a great day.